On last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, we likely got a glimpse into what one of the WrestleMania main events is going to be. Whether it's going to be night one or night two, we still don't know. We don't even know if it's going to be the main event of this year's WrestleMania, but it definitely has the best chance of becoming one of the main events of WrestleMania 41. And if you already don't know what I'm talking about, I am obviously talking about Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. Those three names alone are kind of insane when you think about those three possibly being in a feud together. So the purpose of this video is to kind of look at all the other feuds that WWE is kind of doing right now, and we're going to see why this one just makes the most sense to be either night one or night two's main event. And before we get too far ahead in the video, if you're new around here and you are a WWE fan, I consider subscribing. It's free, you can always change your mind. Again, if you're a WWE fan, that's all we post on here is WWE related content. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the sheer star power that is in this potential feud, match, whatever you want to call it. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. Those three names alone could main event any WrestleMania ever. And when you consider the story that's not just between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, not just between Seth Rollins and CM Punk, but now you're starting to see the feud kind of growing between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Now, I don't know about you, but I would have been perfectly fine with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins having it out once again. Obviously, the feud is already there. We know the history between them with the Shield and Seth Rollins turning on the Shield, and everything that has transpired up to this point has been a feud between those two. And their chemistry together is just so damn good, you have to do more between the two. And then you throw in CM Punk, and I was kind of wondering how they were going to throw in CM Punk into this match. And we got our answer, I think at least, with Paul Heyman. If you did watch the main event from last night's Monday Night Raw, you will know that when Roman Reigns dragged Seth Rollins out and started curb stomping him just like Seth Rollins did at the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns got very pissed when he saw Paul Heyman comforting his friend CM Punk while CM Punk was still trying to gather himself in the ring. And that right there is CM Punk's in to this feud. Even the stuff at the Royal Rumble felt like it was more towards Seth Rollins. CM Punk being pissed at Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns being pissed at Seth Rollins. There really wasn't a whole lot to go off of between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. So the fact that they are using Paul Heyman as kind of CM Punk's way of getting into this feud and getting into this match potentially, I absolutely love it. Because we know how much Paul Heyman means to Roman Reigns, and we know how much Roman Reigns means to Paul Heyman. When Roman Reigns isn't on TV, Paul Heyman just completely loses himself every single time. And again, we already know the friendship between CM Punk and Paul Heyman at this point. And I'm just really excited to see how Roman Reigns is going to react to Paul Heyman comforting CM Punk. And let's not forget, CM Punk still has that favor from Paul Heyman. And now I'm really curious as to what that favor is going to be. We thought that it was potentially going to be something at the Royal Rumble. That didn't happen. We think that something is going to happen at WrestleMania. Whether it does or not is still yet to be seen because WrestleMania hasn't happened yet, obviously. And I feel like everyone's most popular opinion on what the favor could be was CM Punk using that favor to get into the main event of WrestleMania 41. And now, while the match itself isn't even guaranteed, at this point, this has to be one of your two main events. Obviously, what's happening with John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and The Rock, obviously that deserves to be one of the two main events. And as it should be, because Cody Rhodes is your Universal Champion. He is at the top of the mountain, going against two of the most iconic superstars in WWE history, hell, in Hollywood history. And when you look at Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns, you have three of the top that WWE has to offer. And I just don't think that any of the other feuds can match that. The big one that I really don't see main eventing is Gunther versus Jey Uso. That feud hasn't been terrible, but it just hasn't really done a whole lot because we've seen them feud time and time again now. And it just kind of feels like it's the same thing over and over again. While I'm not saying the feud is terrible, and I'm not saying that any of the other feuds are terrible. For instance, I think what Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley are currently doing is really, really good. That segment between those three last night on Raw was one of the best segments that we've gotten on Raw so far this year. And while that feud is going to be good, and while that match should be good, I don't think it gets over Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. And I sure as hell don't think it's going to be Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. So in my eyes, this right here is one of your two main events for WrestleMania 41. And rightfully so, because the feud is going to be spectacular, the match is going to be spectacular, and there's still a lot of unknown left to do with this story. Again, we know the history between Seth Rollins, CM Punk. We know the history between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. How's Paul Heyman going to fit in all of this? What side is Paul Heyman going to be on? Is he going to choose Roman Reigns, or is he going to choose CM Punk? And then that leaves CM Punk's favor. What the hell is the favor going to be at this point? I really, really hope that WWE doesn't end up just scrapping the whole favor idea, because I really, really think that they could do something really cool with it. So I hope they didn't abandon that idea and they do end up using it as we continue down the road to WrestleMania 41. So this is where I want to hear from you guys. Do you think that Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns is going to be one of the two main events at WrestleMania this year? And also let me know if you think it should be main eventing one of the two nights of WrestleMania this year. And if you don't think it should be, who would you put as the main event? Again, my opinion is I think it is a no-brainer. This match has to be one of the two main events this year. Again, I'm not saying any of the other feuds are bad, but they're just not going to compare to this one. And also, let me know, what side do you think Paul Heyman picks? I'm actually really, really excited to see that whole story unfold. So as always, let me know all that stuff down below in the comments. And while you're down there, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. That link will take you to all of the social medias for this channel, and I do suggest going and checking out our X page. Besides YouTube, I am most active over on X. We do updates for Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and the PLEs. Now, I will say for the next couple months, Fridays and Saturdays are going to be super, super busy for me, so I may not always be available to provide updates for Friday Night SmackDown, and I may end up missing some of the PLEs. But I will always be available for Monday Night Raw. But my main goal with the X page is to have a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling. Especially if you're like me and you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. So if you are like me and you're looking for a place to just nerd out about pro wrestling and WWE in general, I strongly suggest swinging by an episode of Monday Night Raw, join in on the conversation, and maybe it's for you at the end of the day. Now that that is said and done, that is going to do it for this video here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. Both are free, both help out the channel a lot. And if you have made it to this point of the video, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to watch these videos here. And as always, stay tuned for more wrestling content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.